The second most populous country in Africa, Ethiopia, is without a prime minister since Haile Mariam Desalegn resigned last week. The prime minister resigned on Thursday following more than 2 years of opposition protests. Immediately after he stepped down, a state of emergency was declared on Friday, banning protests and imposing restrictions on freedom of expression. Well, for more now, we are joined by Mohamed Fatah, who is a former senior Africa analyst for the US government and now a senior fellow at the Quilliam International. Mohamed, what happens next for Ethiopia?
Pardon me.
No, I was just saying, what's going to happen next to Ethiopia?
I think what's going to happen next is the ruling party has to select a new prime minister over the next couple of weeks. There is internal discussions on who's going to take the lead. There is, of course, some reshuffling that will take place, but I think the change that happened, especially the resignation of the prime minister and the institution of the state of emergency, is a significant political development in Ethiopia, and that's something that could actually tilt the country in either recovering or heading toward more chaos.
Well, that is a crucial question, because what happens next will depend on if the next prime minister follows the stance of Haile Mariam Desalegn, who, at least in the last few months, was making a lot of concessions towards the opposition. So is the new government and the new administration likely to do the same, or will they clamp down on protests and restrict freedoms once again?
I think it's most likely going to be the latter. Unfortunately, the government, the ruling party may see the overtures that the prime minister made as not working. The protest still went on, even despite release of political prisoners. So they may take a more hardline approach, and I think the state of emergency is one of the signs that may be the case, that they will be taking a more harsher approach and more detentions and likely a military or security operations against the protesters.
But how sustainable is this? Because, for example, you've got the Oromo, who are a majority in terms of population, but in terms of political appointments, in terms of the military, they feel marginalized. So how sustainable is this policy of marginalizing them?
It's not sustainable. I mean, the population, Ethiopia is the second largest population in Africa, and the Oromo communities are the largest. So this is not something that the government can sustain. But the country, I mean, the ruling party and the ruling class come predominantly from the Tigray regions of Ethiopia. So unless there is a pressure, internal pressure, external pressure to be more, working with the communities and making sure that there's more power sharing, I think this one party, one system will continue, and that they will continue to use the security forces to economically and politically marginalize communities, especially not only the Oromiyas, but also the Amhara community. The protests are going on both regions, and it could spread if the security issues are escalated.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Mohamed Fatah, a former senior Africa analyst for the US government and also now a senior fellow at Quilliam.